start. Okay. As you've already read this, it states that I'm not a counselor and that whatever you say is going to be on YouTube. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I accept it.
Okay, so can you go ahead and sign that?
You're supposed to, yeah.
You can begin when you're ready.
What would you like me to start? What would you like to know? I mean,
You can talk about anything that interests you.
a lot of things interest me, like the fortunate things I've had over my life, being able to pursue my happiness.
Hmm.
I was able to buy a building through the VA, and that was a lifelong dream, and that was a nice accomplishment. And we did a lot of renovations to the building. We put up a garage, made a man cave in the garage, and we were rehabbing everything else. And we move on from there.
And if I'm understanding correctly, you're very happy with this, and this is something you wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah, all my life I always wanted to have my own property,
Hmm.
and the opportunity arose, and I took advantage of it through my VA benefits, which has always been asked about, but I never pursued it. And when I did pursue it, I was accepted. So we went further, and then, like I said, we accomplished and bought the building.
Hmm.
My whole family lives in the building, and we just keep moving on from there.
Hmm.
And life goes on. Uh, Earlier in my life, I was in college, and I was drafted in 1967, 66 rather, and it was a choice of staying in school or going into the military. So I said, okay, I'll drop out of school, and I went into the military, not really thinking about Vietnam, which I didn't know of. Figured I'll get it out of the way, and I'll have military background, and I could use the Bill of Rights from the military for education,
Hmm.
which never materialized. I went into the service and was put into various situations and wound up in Vietnam.
Hmm.
And I was in curious situations in Vietnam where you grow up overnight. You know, I was in 67 and 68,
Hmm.
and the Tet Offensive started in January of 68, and it was a hard ordeal. You know, I made it through that, came home, and started working. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but that was kind of formatting what I did. And this guy needed help in an auto parts store at the time, and I went and interviewed, and the guy hired me on the spot and walked out on me. And I didn't know what to do in the store. I was just hired,
Hmm.
and I became store manager, and I worked there for 10 years. And after a while, I pursued my own interest and opened my own store.
Hmm.
Then I opened my own store up and had that going pretty good, but then the gas embargo affected my business, and then I had to get out, and I moved into something else. And I met my wife, and we got married. This is like 1975. And then we uh, opened up our own courier service, which I have until this day, which was very lucrative. And then, you know, as time went on, the business changed due to the fact the environment changed as far as the housing industry fell apart, and I lost most of the business from that.
Hmm.
But to this day, I still pursue it, and I still do it, but not on the same scale.
Hmm.
Uh, I now have the courier service, and we deal with certain accounts, and I have my sons running it with me. And I'm, you know, at the age now where I can enjoy life, which I am. I'm happy and I enjoy life.
And if I hear correctly, it sounds like from the Vietnam, you said you had to grow up fast and you take charge. You think it sounds like that played a role in you being able to do everything as well.
Well, when I went to Vietnam and when I was there, I was 18, 19 years old, young kid. And when the Tet Offensive started, overnight. I grew up from what
Mhm.
happened. You know, you just wake up,
Mhm.
and find out what the fears are,
Mhm.
and I was fortunate to come through it all.
And it seems like that's what was able to get you to do well in life as well, because you had the strength.
And, yeah, it made me focus on my life,
Mhm.
saying, "Wow, I got through this. That I can beat anything."
Mhm.
And it gets to you sometimes. Like now,
Mhm.
just the thought of thinking of it
Mhm.
brings emotional to myself being. Uh, I didn't know what PTSD was until maybe 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And I have that, and I have emotional setbacks from it, which sometimes talking about things will affect my thoughts.
Mhm.
Like now, I'm getting choked up from it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I grew up overnight, and I moved on, and I said I'm just going to do the best of my ability to whatever I can do.
Mhm.
Like I said, I came out, got put in an auto parts store, worked for somebody, and then I worked myself into owning my own business.
Mhm.
And I got a person that invested with me, and he quit after the first year, and I bought him out, and I stayed in business for another 10, 12 years until the gas embargo came, like I said before, and things got tough, and I saw the handwriting on the wall, and I had to move out from there.
Mhm.
And life's been good lately. You know?
Mhm.
I don't let nothing bother me. I'm not. I don't. I'm just. I'm happy to where I'm at in my life now,
Mhm.
and I just hope to be able to stay that way. You know, I want to live to be 100.
Mhm.
Uh, it's really hard sometimes talking about yourself. I'm finding out right now.
Mhm. But it's good that you're able to acknowledge that talking about certain things from Vietnam affects you, because that's you sometimes not talking could be even harder. So it's nice that you can acknowledge that you feel a
Uh,
certain way sometimes.
it's true. Sometimes it just builds up in you.
Mhm.
You sleep, you think about it, you don't say nothing, and it's just all of a sudden when you do talk about it, you get choked up and emotional.
Mhm.
And I never knew what it was.
Mhm.
For years, I looked over my shoulder all the time, not realizing I was doing that.
Mhm.
And then finally, my wife said, "Why are you looking behind you?" I said, "No, I'm not." And she says, "Yes, you are." And I didn't realize I was doing it. It's just from being over there in Vietnam.
Mhm.
You always watched your back. But it took a toll on my life. I'm not going to say it didn't. There's a lot of people worse off than not. Hard. It's just an emotional thing that comes out. You can be happy as lucky, and it's like something just slaps you in the face and chokes you up.
Mhm.
That's something that's never going to go away. Take a second.
Well, if you'd like to stop, since you're feeling a certain way, that's perfectly fine. You we're welcome to stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd
All
be
right.
nice. Here, what happens.